Level 1, the recruiter's office. You are 18 years old in a strip mall office in suburban Ohio. The fluorescent lights buzz. Behind the recruiter's head, there is a poster of a man emerging from black water. You scored a 94 on the ASVAB. The recruiter tells you that less than 1% of the Navy becomes a SEAL. You nod like you understand what that means. You do not understand what that means. You have done 100 push-ups before. You think that is relevant. The recruiter slides a sheet across the desk. The physical screening test. 500-yard swim in 12 minutes 30 seconds, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 10 pull-ups, 1.5-mile run in 10 minutes 30 seconds. Competitive candidates score far above those minimums. You read the numbers and feel nothing but certainty. He mentions Naval Special Warfare Preparatory School in Great Lakes, Illinois. 8 weeks of preparation before Bud/S even begins. You will sign a contract called the SEAL Challenge. It guarantees you a slot at Bud/S. It guarantees absolutely nothing else. You look up the attrition rate that night on your phone. Roughly 75 to 80% of Bud/S classes do not finish. You read that sentence and feel chosen anyway. That is the particular kind of confidence that only exists before you have been truly tested. You feel selected before the selection has happened. You sign the contract on a Tuesday morning. The recruiter shakes your hand. Outside, the Ohio sky is flat and gray and entirely ordinary. You are not ordinary. You are certain of this. You drive home and do push-ups in your bedroom until your arms give out, and you count that as preparation. Level 2. Bud's Hell Week. Day 2. You are in Coronado, California, and you have not slept in 41 hours. It is 3 in the morning on Tuesday of Hell Week. You are wet. You are always wet. The sand has found places on your body you did not know existed. Your boat crew, 6 men, is carrying a 200-pound rubber inflatable boat on your heads as you run through soft sand. An instructor with a bullhorn is explaining, calmly and scientifically, that you are worthless. The Naval Special Warfare Center sits on the most expensive real estate in the continental United States. That detail is insane and also irrelevant to you right now because the Pacific Ocean off Coronado is 60 degrees Fahrenheit and you have been lying in the surf line for 20 minutes with your arms linked to the men on either side of you. This is called surf torture. It is exactly what it sounds like. The primary danger is not drowning. The primary danger is hypothermia, and the instructors know exactly where the line is, and they walk right up to it. There is a brass bell mounted on a post 20 feet away. You can ring it at any time. When you ring it, it stops. 3 men from your class rang it this morning. You did not ring it. Your class started with 172 candidates. Hell Week will reduce that to 31. You do not know those numbers yet. You only know the next 5 minutes. Your IBS, inflatable boat small, weighs 200 pounds and your boat crew has carried it for what feels like a geological era. Your neck has stopped hurting because it has stopped sending signals. What you discover in this moment, in the dark, in the sand, in the cold, is the most important thing you will ever learn. Your mind quits long before your body does. The body has reserves your mind has no access to. The only thing separating you from that bell is a decision. And decisions can go either way. You make the decision again, and again, and again. That is the entire mechanism. That is all it is. Level 3, the first deployment, Ramadi, 2006. You finished Bud/S. You finished SQT SEAL qualification training. You are 22 years old, and a Naval Special Warfare insignia has been pinned to your chest. Everyone calls it the Budweiser. You are in Ramadi, Iraq, which in 2006 is the most dangerous city on Earth. Your platoon is attached to SEAL Team 3, Task Unit Bruiser, under Commander Jocko Willink. This deployment will become one of the most decorated combat tours in Naval Special Warfare history. You do not know that yet. You only know that tonight you are doing a direct action raid on a high-value target in the Malab district, and your hands are steady, and you are not yet sure whether that is courage or whether you have simply not processed what is happening. There are 8 SEAL teams in the active duty force. A platoon is 16 operators, 2 squads of 8. You are a new guy. That is not a description, that is a designation. The lowest status person in the platoon, regardless of rank, you carry the most gear. You take the worst position in the patrol order. You speak last. You earn somewhere between $60,000 and $70,000 annually when you add combat pay, hazard pay, and SEAL special duty assignment pay to your base. The number is irrelevant to you. You are not here for the number. The gap between training and reality closes on your first night in the Malab district. It closes violently and permanently. You will never again confuse the simulation for the thing itself. What you feel moving through that alley at 0200 is not what you felt in any training scenario. The training was accurate in every technical detail and completely unable to replicate this. The weight of what is real is different from the weight of what is practice, and your body knows the difference before your brain does. You come back to the base, you clean your weapon, you eat, You do not sleep for a long time, and somewhere in that long dark you begin to understand that the SEAL ethos is not about heroism, it is about not letting the man to your left or right down. That is smaller than heroism, that is also more durable. Level 4, the operator. 7 deployments initial bus. You are 29 years old. You have been to Iraq 3 times and Afghanistan twice. You have a bronze star with a Combat V device in a drawer somewhere. Your wife's name is Melissa, and she has learned to sleep alone, and she is very good at it now. You are a petty officer first class, E6, and you are one of the most experienced shooters in your troop. You know things about violence that cannot be explained to someone who has not seen them. You also know how to be still in a way that civilians find unsettling. Your body is beginning to send invoices. Torn labrum, right shoulder, 2 knee surgeries. The VA estimates that over 80% of SEALs retire with chronic musculoskeletal injuries. You are ahead of schedule. Your base pay is approximately $3,750 per month. With all special pays and allowances, total compensation approaches $80,000 to $90,000 annually. You do not think about money, you think about the deployment cycle. 12 months deployed, 12 months home. Except in the high-tempo years after September 11th, the cycle compressed to 6 months, essentially never home. PTSD diagnosis rates among Special Operations Forces run roughly 30%. The actual rate is believed to be significantly higher because of underreporting. You have not been diagnosed with anything. You have also not reported anything. You are extraordinarily good at the most extreme version of a job that costs something every single time you do it. You are at the peak of your physical capacity and somewhere near the beginning of your psychological unraveling, though you cannot see that from inside it. The invoice is accumulating. The invoice is always accumulating. You are competent enough to ignore it for now. That is the specific danger of being this good at something this costly. Level 5, the Chief. Leading men into places maps don't cover. You are 34. You are a Chief Petty Officer, E7. When you speak, junior enlisted men write things down. The transition from E6 to E7 required a Navy-wide competitive board with a selection rate below 15%. You have stopped counting deployments. You are in Kunduz, Afghanistan. Last week, one of your guys stepped on a pressure plate. He is alive. You made the call to push into a compound with incomplete intelligence. The call was correct, and everyone came home, and you will never stop reviewing that call in the dark at 3 in the morning for the rest of your life. You run your troops' training cycle. You are responsible for the tactical decisions that keep your people alive. Your base pay is approximately $4,100 to $4,500 per month. Total compensation with all special and hazard pays approaches $95,000 to $105,000 annually. That is not why you are here. You are here because you are the person who translates the mission into human beings moving through lethal space. You wear PVS-14 monoculars, night observation devices, that cost approximately $3,500 per unit and turn darkness into a green-tinted tactical advantage. Through those NODs at 0200, you see things that the analysts in Tampa, Florida did not see in their intelligence brief. The gap between command intelligence and ground truth is a central tension in special operations leadership. You live in that gap, you make decisions in that gap. The weight of command at this level is not the weight of rank, it is the weight of being the person who is responsible for the people who do the mission, which is completely different from being the person who does the mission. You are learning that those are 2 entirely different jobs, and that the second one is harder. Level 6, the Master Chief, the Tribe's Keeper. You are 41. You are a Master Chief Petty Officer, E9, the highest enlisted rank in the United States Navy. There are approximately 3,500 active duty SEALs across 8 SEAL teams, 2 SEAL delivery vehicle teams, and Naval Special Warfare Development Group, which everyone calls DEV-DRU. There are fewer than 100 Master Chief SEALs. You are one of them. Your base pay is approximately $5,900 to $7,200 per month, depending on years of service. Total compensation approaches $130,000 to $145,000 annually. You have not deployed in 2 years. Your value to the organization is now institutional rather than tactical. You sit on selection boards. You mentor chiefs. You have a direct line to the Command Master Chief of Naval Special Warfare Command in Coronado. You are also beginning to understand something that the community does not advertise. Between 2011 and 2019, Naval Special Warfare lost more operators to suicide than to combat. That statistic was quietly acknowledged internally years before it became public. You sit on continuation boards, the boards that decide which operators are retained and which are separated. You end careers, sometimes the careers of men who were once better operators than you ever were. You do it because the institution requires it, and because you are the person the institution has made responsible for the machinery, including its damage. That is institutional grief. It does not have a uniform or a ceremony. It just sits with you. Level 7, the Commander, Special Operations Task Force. You commissioned as a limited duty officer late in your career, a rare path that takes exceptional enlisted personnel and makes them officers. You are a commander, 05, running a special operations task force in an undisclosed location that your family cannot know about. You coordinate with CIA case officers, State Department officials, and partner nation forces. You have 17 operators under your command and a staff of 40. Your base pay is approximately $8,400 per month. Total compensation approaches $160,000 to $180,000 annually. You brief 2-star generals. You understand Title 10 versus Title 50 authorities, the legal distinction between military operations and intelligence activities well enough to brief lawyers on the difference. You never heard those terms at Bud/S. The operational framework you work inside is called find, fix, finish, exploit, analyze, disseminate. At your level, you spend far more time on find and exploit than on finish. The finish is the part that used to be your entire job. Now it is the smallest part. Joint Special Operations Command is headquartered at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Working within JSOC architecture at this level means navigating interagency relationships with CIA, DIA, and NSA simultaneously. The most dangerous thing in your building is not a weapon. It is a bad decision made by someone who is certain they are right. You have learned to distrust certainty. That is 20 years of operational experience distilled into a single instinct. You are also old enough to carry moral injury, distinct from PTSD, the damage caused not by fear, but by participating in or ordering actions that exist in ethical gray space. At 05, 20 years into the global war on terror, you are senior enough to understand that the strategic question of what all of this was for does not have a clean answer. You are also too professional and too responsible to let that uncertainty affect the mission in front of you. You hold both things simultaneously. That is what command at altitude actually looks like. Level EAT, the operator who came home. You are 47 years old. You are retired. You live outside Virginia Beach, Virginia, close enough to Naval Amphibious Base Little Creek that you can hear the helicopters at night. Little Creek is home to Naval Special Warfare Group 2 and multiple East Coast SEAL teams. You had 24 years of service. Your pension is 60% of base pay, approximately $4,300 to $5,000 per month for the rest of your life, indexed to inflation. You have a consulting contract with a defense firm. 3 publishers have offered to buy your memoir. You have not written it because you are not sure the story is yours alone to tell. Your left knee has 2 screws in it. You sleep 4 to 6 hours a night, and you have stopped trying to fix that. Your marriage survived. You understand that is rarer than your Bronze Star. Approximately 70% of SEALs who leave the military struggle significantly with transition, major career instability, relationship breakdown, substance dependence, or clinical depression within the first 3 years. The Navy SEAL Foundation distributed over $4.5 million in scholarships and family support in 2023 alone. You know men who needed that. You know men who did not ask for it and needed it more. You coach youth wrestling on Saturday mornings. When parents ask what you used to do, you say Navy. You can read a room, a road, a relationship, and a threat faster than anyone in it. You can be still under pressure that liquefies other people. You have made decisions in the dark, with incomplete information, under fire, and you have lived with the outcomes. That capacity does not leave when the uniform does. It is not a skill, it is a structure. It is the shape your mind took after 24 years of being asked to function at the edge of what a human being can endure. Some mornings you sit in the parking lot of the base and watch the young men run. They are 18, 19, 20 years old. They are wet and cold and carrying boats on their heads, and their faces have that particular expression, the one that is pure unearned confidence, the kind that only exists before you have been truly tested. They feel chosen before the choosing has happened. You remember that feeling precisely. You remember the recruiter's office in Ohio and the poster of the man emerging from black water and the fluorescent lights buzzing and the certainty that 100 push-ups was relevant preparation for what was coming. What you feel watching them is not quite pride and not quite grief and does not have a civilian word for it. It is something closer to recognition. The machinery is beginning again. The bell is on the post. The water is 60 degrees. The decisions are waiting in the dark. And somewhere in suburban Ohio, right now, an 18-year-old is sitting across a desk under fluorescent lights and nodding like they understand what 1% means. They do not understand what it means yet. They will.
Hey, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you. These stories take a lot of time to put together, so do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and leave a like. It means a lot. See you in the next one. Bye.